I'm George Fielding, Chairman of the Kids Board, and I'm here today to quiz Ed Balls MP about just about life in general. It's quite varied questions I've got to ask you. So should we just get started?
I'm very much looking forward to it, George, I have to say.
Thank you very much for doing this. Ed, what was your favourite subject at school?
I think my favourite subject was history. I did medieval history for A-level, which was fabulous. But I enjoyed doing all sorts of types of history. I really enjoyed English literature. But then in the end, I decided that economics was the way forward for me.
I'm finding it very dry, personally. I'm currently doing history, politics and economics, and I'm finding it difficult. But very information-based, so it's very difficult.
Economics?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got a really good conceptual framework. You know, there's there's some theory to it, but it's not like maths, which is all about the theory, because it's actually about the real world, and it's quite hard to fit people into a theory. So it's all the best, it seems to me, of discipline, but also the real world.
It's quite good for me because with my interest in politics, it's quite good at I can kind of combine the two to kind of be hopefully a more rounded student at doing it. So that's good. Our second question is, what's your best excuse for not doing homework?
My best excuse, to be honest, George, I'm really sorry to disappoint you and all the people watching this, but I always did my homework.
I was hoping for a bit of advice, you see. I've run out.
Do your homework. It's better to do your homework.
Do you have any Olympic or Paralympic tickets?
I do actually. We went into the ballot and I applied, like everybody else, and I applied for tons of tickets, and I got 4. So we have 4 tickets for the final of the women's 10-metre diving, which is going to be very exciting. The trouble is that there's 5 in our family, so there's a bit of a dispute going on at the moment about who's not going to have a ticket, but I fear it might be me.
So, you can see that our ambassador can't with some very questions, and we're only 4 questions in. What is your favourite Paralympic sport?
Well, look, I have to say, having done the London Marathon last weekend and having been completely beaten by the elite runners, the Paralympic wheelchair competitors, and by a woman who hula hooped her whole way around the course, I would have to say the wheelchair sprinting and then the long distance wheelchair races. That's the best.
That's the one that is the most common.
Yeah, but it's also really exciting. And what you know is that these guys are, men and women, incredibly strong, really disciplined, very well trained, and they're doing something which none of us can do.
The 5th one is, would you ever run another marathon? Now you've completed one.
The honest truth is I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the training. The day was fabulous. The support was great, and I enjoyed the final 8 miles best of all. I enjoyed the end. To be honest, I could have done another 5 miles at the end, so I was really enjoying it. And I bet is not very enthusiastic about me doing another one, so I'm going to have to negotiate my way through that one.
You'd like to do
I think some people get to the end and say never again, and I certainly didn't say that to the end. I actually was enjoying it and wanted to carry on, and found it 2 or 3 days afterwards a bit flat because it had been exciting. So there's a part of me which would like to do again.
Number 6 is, how did it feel to be beaten by a rhino and a camel at the marathon?
Well, I'm not. There's a bit of a dispute on the camel.
It is.
I was passed at mile 14 by the camel, but I believe that I then overtook the camel at mile 24. Whether that's true or not, I would need to go and check the records and have a nasty feeling that they turn out to be untrue. In my mind, I beat the camel.
That's the best way to be. I take pride in this. Which Whizz-Kidz cheerpoint at the marathon was the loudest? Say the right one.
Well, the most dramatic one was mile 9, because it was right on a corner, and it was the first person I saw who I knew. We saw our children there, very exciting. But the loudest was definitely mile 23.
You escaped out of that. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all to everybody who came. It's fabulous to have that support. It really kept me going.
Number 8 is, have you ever had any embarrassing moments in Parliament?
So many, I couldn't even begin to list them all. Definitely. Everybody has embarrassing moments in life. You forget your words, you knock a glass of water over your speech when you're about to deliver it. Things go wrong, of course, loads and loads of them.
Which one is the most embarrassing? Which one sticks in your head and you think, do you know what, I regret that?
The most embarrassing, I think the most embarrassing was a few weeks into being an MP. I was speaking at a dinner at the Institute of Directors. I suddenly realised that my phone was vibrating in my jacket. I hadn't looked at it. And I took it out while I was making a speech and realised it said, vote in the House of Commons now. So I suddenly said in the middle of my speech to 40 or 50 people, I'm sorry, there's a vote, I've got to go. Stood up and ran out of the room, leaving all the people there, never went round. I sprinted all the way down Whitehall and I got into the House of Commons and got to the door just as they shut the doors. And therefore I stood there, totally out of breath, panting like mad, and I failed to get in for the vote. And it was incredibly embarrassing. And what I learned then was that if you think you're going to miss a vote, the best thing to do is just sort of go and hide somewhere. But arriving and being totally out of breath just outside the door didn't really work for me.
Which other politician do you admire the most?
My gosh. I admire loads of politicians for lots of different reasons. I have to say, I think David Blunkett, to have become for so many years a cabinet minister with his disability, but not being able to see, it's an astonishing achievement. I mean, just actually when I think to myself of what I've done and the things he managed to achieve and the responsibility he had while having that disability as well, I think that's staggering, to be honest. And if I'm honest with you, even today, I'm not quite sure how he did it.
He's a chief inspiration of mine, and I don't really know how he became such a well-respected
well, if you think about it,
Home Secretary with his disability. It's completely...
It's amazing. See, if you think about Anne Begg, she's a great politician, she's in a wheelchair, but for David, although that means there's some extra complications for her getting around, the reality is, when she's speaking and answering letters and talking in Parliament, the fact that she's in a chair doesn't make that much difference really. Whereas for David Blunkett, all of his research, his reading, had to be done by other people before him or to read in Braille, and to be making public speeches without that sort of spatial awareness of the room which you have to cite. I think that is, to be able to do the job so well, I just think it's mind-blowing really. And it must be an inspiration to everybody else. You know, David Blunkett can do it, so could all of us.
Number 10 is, what is the hardest part of being an MP?
The hardest part is not being able to be there for children as you would be if you were doing a 9-to-5 job. We've been out voting certainly Monday and Tuesday nights until 10 or 11 every night for all of our children's lives. And when I was young, you didn't always want your parents to be bothering you, but it's quite nice to know they were around. And the times when my dad was late and my mum was late home from work, it wasn't as nice. And that's something our children have had all their lives. And so that's, I think, the toughest thing.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to work in politics?
My advice would be, do your homework, George. Sorry. Make sure that you enjoy the subjects you do, economics, politics. Economics is the foundation for political decision making. It's all about how do you deliver difficult outcomes when there's scarce resources. We can't give everybody what they want. So you've got to enjoy, work hard and do your exams. However, my advice would be get involved, whether that's in the school council or political societies at college, or do some door knocking on a Sunday for whichever your political party. Get involved, get part of it. We have, in my constituency, lots and lots of young people, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, who've been working with us for quite a few years, and they come and they'll stuff the leaflets, but they're also involved. And I think getting involved and a big part of it and learning from the bottom. That's the best way.
What advice would you give someone who's not very confident about speaking in front of large amounts of people?
Well, I think it's really important to remember that nobody ever is when they start, and nobody ever is when they do something new. So, however many speeches you made to a local Labour Party, your first speech in the House of Commons, your first interview on Andrew Marr, it's nerve-wracking. The first time the Prime Minister ever does Prime Minister's questions, he's as nervous as you would be making a speech to the Whizz-Kidz board, and the first time you do it, and that's just life. So don't think there's some people who can do it and some people who can't, or that you're nervous and then you get over it. Everything is a challenge. Everything which is new is hard, but in everything in life you learn how to do it, and you get more confident, you get more experience, and you find your own way. And there's some people who will make speeches like a Baptist minister in a Southern American church. But there's other people who can get passion and clarity and determination for a different way of speaking. Everybody has a way to do it. It's just a case of finding your own way and being yourself. Take your time.
Who is the most famous person saved onto your mobile phone?
Well, I think probably it might be Lord Alan Sugar. He might be the most famous. For people watching this film, there's probably more people who know who Lord Alan Sugar is than Prime Minister David Cameron, whose phone, as it happens, I haven't got on my phone. So it might be Lord Alan Sugar.
His choice or yours?
He's never shared his mobile with me. I don't know, George.
What do you believe is your greatest achievement so far?
I think that I was involved with a team in some very important things, making the Bank of England independent, the decision for Britain not to join the single currency, the extra money for the National Health Service in 2003. I think, though, that there's certain things I was able to do myself when I was sort of in the lead on those decisions. I think the aiming high for disabled children, the extra money we managed to get for respite care, for respite breaks, short breaks, and also changing the way children with disabilities were seen in government by the Children's Department and the Health Department. I think that was probably a thing which I hope will have a big lasting impact on kids' lives in Britain.
May I ask, which act do you believe to be the most important which you passed, or had an influence upon?
To be honest, that is hard because there's so many. I had a big influence on the tax credits acts in the early part of the Parliament, and that was had a transformational effect for many families and for many children. But I think probably in a way we didn't have an act not to join the single currency, but not joining the single currency was a very, very important big decision for Britain. I think we would have been in a real mess as a country now if we had.
What was your first celebrity crush?
Nadia Comaneci. She was a Romanian gymnast in, I think, the 1976 and then the 1980 Olympics. She came after Olga Korbut, so she would have been 13 or 14, I would have been 10 or 11, and she was winning gold medals with amazing gymnastics, and I thought she was fabulous.
What is your favourite band?
That's a good question. The
I
truth
can answer that.
The truth is I like loads and loads of different bands. I actually very much like the Killers, and that is our sort of our karaoke favourite. I actually really like, it's a bit embarrassing to admit, you may not know who they are, but I really like Chicago, who are sort of 70s kind of soul-y, Motown-y band. When I was your age, my favourite band was ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra. Mr. Blue Sky, and I have a pretty wide eclectic view. I like all these different things.
I think you answered it. But number 17 is, what is your favourite karaoke song?
My favourite karaoke song by far is Endless Love by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. And I'm quite versatile, so I can do Lionel Richie, but I'm actually quite good at doing Diana Ross as well. And it's all about passion in the backing vocal.
You want the Commodore?
Yeah, I suppose so. Commodore. I would like to be a Commodore. Actually, what I'd really like to, if you said to me, one night, do one thing, I would like to be either a Pip, as in Gladys Knight and the Pips, or I would like to be one of the inspiration singers when Elvis in the 70s was doing his big concerts. And you're one of the backing singers. I think actually, it's a funny thing in life, some people want to be the main singer. And I can sort of see why that would be exciting. But actually, can you imagine being on stage being a backing singer? Somebody great, fabulous.
But wouldn't you want to be the star?
I think life's about teamwork. And sometimes it's good to be the front person. And I'm currently the Shadow Chancellor, so we've got the leader out front, but I'm up there in the front line with him. But actually, teams matter. And I think I've played rugby in my life, I've been involved in music, and being part of a team which works. And teams rely upon every person doing their job. And I think great backing singers. If you watch Adele, fabulous singer, brilliant backing singers. Can you imagine being one of Adele's backing singers? Fabulous.
If you were an animal, which one would you be?
Good grief, George, where do you get these ridiculous questions?
I do believe
that may be a
step, that might even be a step too far for me.
If I was an animal, what would you be, George?
What would I be?
This is called a political tactic of turning the question back on the interviewer. What would you be?
Can I not turn the question back on you again?
That is what interviewers do. That is also true. I would be a pussycat.
Sleep?
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea.
Do you know, our ambassadors never fail to message me.
Don't tell me they're going to get worse.
I hope not for your sake.
Okay. Keep it cool.
What is your biggest fashion mistake? I was wrong. I apologise.
My biggest fashion mistake? The couple of days before the marathon, I bought one of those body-hugging, special athletic tops. I don't know if you see Wayne Rooney. Yeah. Under his Man United shirt, he wears a red, really tight, sort of body-hugging athletic shirt. I had one of those, plus my Lycra jogging pants. And when I put the two of them on and asked the family what they thought, and they all said, no, you can't wear that.
The insight we can achieve through Whizz-Kidz. Number 20 is, if you had to go either on Celebrity Big Brother or I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, which one would you choose?
Definitely neither. Yeah. Definitely, I'm really sorry. Because Celebrity Big Brother is a hideous contrived programme, only outdone for hideous contrivance by I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. What I would like to do though is go on Ready Steady Cook, Saturday Kitchen. If I had a really good talent, I'd like to go on Britain's Got Talent. I would actually quite like to do Strictly Come Dancing. So dancing or cooking, but simply being a celebrity doing mad things in the jungle or in a house, no thank you. I'll leave that to George Galloway.
We were hoping you were going to follow in instead of step. Has working with Whizz-Kidz changed your perception of disabled people?
180%. Of course, massively. Because the thing which you see with the Whizz-Kidz board when you work with them over a period of time is you don't see the chair, you see the talent and the excitement and the enthusiasm of the person. And actually, I think that the most important thing with disability is to understand that it changes things and there's things you have to do to make things possible, and sometimes that means going the extra mile. but actually, it's the person who you know, it's the whole person which is the most important thing. And the one thing I've absolutely learned with Whizz-Kidz board is I've met some of the biggest personalities anywhere in Britain.
We know what a difference you've made to Jamie Green, so we really do value your input.
Yeah, but also I've been involved and tried to help, but also I've been taught a lot by a number of different Whizz-Kidz board members from right across the country. And you know, the only thing which is sort of worries me is there's too many people on the Whizz-Kidz board who support Manchester United. I've never understood it.
Better that than supporting Norwich.
I'm not sure actually, but
this is entitled Quickfire. So
Quickfire. What have we been doing? I think we're at question 355 already, George, aren't we? Anyway, go on.
Right.
Quickfire.
Britain's Got Talent or The Voice?
Britain's Got Talent. But The Voice, and I know this fails your quickfire thing.
Yeah.
I think The Voice, I think it's looking good actually, but at the moment Britain's Got Talent.
Maltesers or Smarties?
Maltesers, because they melt in your mouth.
David Cameron or Nick Clegg?
I've been silenced and I'm speechless for the first time in the interview. Neither.
Football or rugby?
Football. But rugby's fabulous.
This is entitled Quickfire. One Direction or Justin Bieber? Both dreadful.
David Cameron.
Newsnight or This Week?
Both. I mean, I like This Week, but actually I like Newsnight.
Getting one over on Paxman must be.
Actually, I like being interviewed by Paxman. He's a good interviewer, and I like being interviewed by Andrew Neil. I think the people who are tough but follow the questioning and want it to be a good interaction, they're the interviews I enjoy most. The ones I find hard, where the interviewer just darts around all over the place and where there's not a link between the previous question. It's actually the dialogue which really makes a good interview. And Paxman and Andrew Neil, that they want to get to the bottom of it and they want to see it through. I enjoy doing Paxman interviews.
This is the close of our interview session with Ed Balls. I again must thank you for being a Whizz-Kidz champion, for completing the marathon with us. I think we've earned an insight into both your political career and your life, and it's been an absolute honour to interview you.
And to everybody who came and supported me, thank you very, very much. We got round, and all I can say is I'm looking forward to seeing George on the green benches in the House of Commons in the next few years. I think he'll get there. I just hope he's on my side.
So do Alistair Campbell.